Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, the 21st of July, 2021, just after 1 o'clock. Welcome to UK Column News. Your host today, Mike Robinson, myself, Brian Gerrish, and we're delighted to be joined by Alex Thompson, bringing us Eastern approaches from the depths of the Netherlands.
Let's put June Rain on screen. Now, of course, the MHRA's position, June Rain's position, was that it was up for the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation to advise on whether children would be vaccinated as part of the deployment programme. Well, the JCVI has now given their advice, and I thought it would be worth just running through this. So let's have a look. Following a request from the Department of Health and Social Care for advice on a possible extension of the COVID-19 vaccination programme, the JCVI has looked at the available evidence around vaccinating children and young people under the age of 18. From today, the JCVI is advising that children at increased risk of serious COVID-19 disease are offered the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. That includes children aged 12 to 15 with severe neurodisabilities, Down syndrome, immunosuppression, and multiple or severe learning disabilities. So that is their position. They go on to say then, the JCVI is not currently advising routine vaccination of children outside these groups based on the current evidence. As evidence shows that COVID-19 rarely causes severe disease in children without underlying health conditions, at this time the JCVI's view is that the minimal health benefits of offering universal COVID-19 vaccination to children do not outweigh the potential risks. Almost all children and young people are at very low risk from COVID-19. Symptoms, when seen, are typically mild, and fewer than 30 children have died because of COVID-19 in the UK as of March 2021. Professor Anthony Harnden, who's the deputy chair of the JCVI, said the primary aim of the vaccination programme has always been to prevent hospitalizations and deaths, based on the fact that previously well children, if they do get COVID-19, are likely to have a very mild form of the disease. The health benefits of vaccinating them are small. So that seems to be that for now, and we wait to see what happens. But I was interested in the groups of children that they feel do need to be vaccinated.
I don't quite know how to describe this one, Mike. First point I'd make is that they keep talking about the evidence, but we never see the evidence for the safety of the vaccines or the risks of the vaccines. That's not coming from the MHRA. It's not coming through the yellow card system because there's no analysis by the MHRA or pharmacovigilance team on what the real risks are. So they talk about the evidence, but it's never presented. You've then got a group of children, some of whom, well, they're all vulnerable, but you've got immuno problems, and yet we're seeing interference with the immune system by the vaccines. We're not seeing any safety documentation. I think they are deliberately targeting this extremely vulnerable group. And I wonder what the outcome is going to be for them of vaccination, a double jab, maybe a triple jab.
Well,
yeah, I think people have really got to start asking the questions because they're coming for the children, and that is an extremely vulnerable group of children.
Okay, well, let's bring Alex onto the program. Welcome to the program, Alex. And a communication from a viewer saying a member of the vaccine harm group with more than 1,000 members and have been dismayed by the lack of coverage in the mainstream media about this issue. While visiting my sister, I came across a recent copy of the Wigan Observer, dated June the 15th, 2021, that I thought you might find of interest. It highlights an issue that I think needs addressing. It seems to be in very poor taste for an editorial comment that appeared on the letters page to plead with readers to get the vaccine while discussing what was no doubt an incredibly painful death of this poor lady after her COVID vaccine. While the main article does mention the government's yellow card scheme, there's no mention of actual data, only the presumption that these vaccine blood clot deaths are incredibly rare. That's something that many other articles covering vaccine deaths have been guilty of across the mainstream press. The Vaccine Harm Group on Telegram and the ones on Facebook, the one on Facebook have been sadly shut down. I've shared many of these articles, yet I'm yet to see one in which a bereaved family member urges for vaccine caution or for the article to give the actual number of deaths involved. I am not anti-vax by any means, but wish for a more informative approach from the mainstream media that has so much power to influence the decisions of people, not least parents, considering getting their children vaccinated in months ahead. My local paper, the Liverpool Echo, has not mentioned the yellow card scheme once, as far as I've seen. other than the readers' comments stories. So more needs to be done to raise awareness about the risks involved. And we have the article here, Alex.
Yes, the viewer in question in Merseyside in the Wirral sent us these shots of the paper that she found while she was over in Wigan. And this enabled me, with the headline in question, Heartbroken Dad Seeks Answers About Death of Beloved Daughter, and viewers should see the positioning of that before we move on, is on the left-hand page, and on the right, there's an editorial in a deceptive place, which we're going to zoom in on shortly, and then the Your Views, the letters page, basically. So the reinforcing message was on the same page as readers' letters. This enabled me to go and find the article on the online version of the paper on the next slide. Here we are, Wigan Today. And the headline here is the same one. Subhead, despite the family tragedy, though, this is the father of the quite young lady who died tragically, is still urging residents to get their jabs. And let's go on and see what's the main angle taken on the bereaved father, whose name appears shortly. He says, I think people should be given the true figures on how many people have had issues with these blood clots. I don't think we actually know the true numbers. I just want some transparency. Notice, Mike and Brian, that this isn't in the subheader. Let people make their own minds up. Direct quote from the bereaved father. I want to know